A major disinfection operation took place at a Taoyuan factory staffed by migrant workers on Tuesday after an employee who returned to Thailand last week tested positive for COVID-19. Although the patient had already been in Thailand for 4 days when he tested positive, officials say that because he was in self-isolation during that time, there is a high possibility that he caught the infection in Taiwan.
A testing and tracing operation is underway, and meanwhile, 5 more imported cases have been discovered, with a handful of contacts told to isolate themselves. That brings the imported cases tally up to 12 for this week.
The factory and dormitories are thoroughly disinfected here in Taoyuan Xinwu district. The patient returned to Thailand on July 21st and was diagnosed COVID positive on July 25th.
他到泰国第4天发病嘛哈。
He fell sick on his 4th day in Thailand. He was in isolation there. Even though the incubation period can be as short as 3 days, the chance of him being infected in Thailand during the isolation period is quite slim. So it's most likely that he was infected in Taiwan.
The man had been working in Taiwan for 2.5 years. He didn't leave the country in that time. The Central Epidemic Command Center refuses to rule out a local transmission and has moved swiftly to test and trace his contacts. 189 people are currently being tested and 28 have been confirmed negative. Officials also plan to increase testing drives for migrant workers visiting doctors in Taoyuan.
我们会今天早上也跟劳动部这边取得。
This morning, we received the residence permit data of the Thai migrant laborers based in Taoyuan from the Ministry of Labor. We want to check which migrant laborers may have had respiratory tract or digestive symptoms in the last few months so that we can make some tests.
Meanwhile, imported cases continue to trickle over Taiwan's borders.
我们今天有新增5例的一个境外移入的一个确定个案哦。
Firstly, I must report about our 5 new imported cases today. 4 of them, patient numbers 463 to 467, arrived from the Philippines. The other arrived from Hong Kong. The 4 from the Philippines were on one flight, and we have identified 15 contacts, 10 of whom were sitting on seats directly in front of or behind the patients. They are all in self-isolation. The other 5 contacts are cabin crew members who have been told to monitor their health very closely.
Just this week, Taiwan has seen 12 imported cases enter the country, 7 of whom entered from the Philippines. On July 26, new health checks were announced for travelers arriving from the Philippines in an effort to make sure the trickle doesn't become a flood.